think Kamaru is gonna mess Mosvidal up, and he's gonna TKO him in the late second, early third. I really want to see Mosvidal go to sleep, call himself Jesus. Idiot. Rose is going to significantly outstrike Andrade. She's gonna win the decision, and I'm gonna win some money.
I think so. My guess. I got Kamaru, I got Holloway, and I got Aldo. Okay? And I got Amanda Ribas, and I got Jessica, and then all the Brazilians.
Which will be more satisfying, Colby Covington or Jorge Masvidal?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think I would say Jorge Masvidal. I think right now in the world, he's the biggest, baddest challenge for me to have. Like, I don't dismiss him at all. I know this guy's tough. I know this is going to be if he's smart, he came out prepared for a dogfight. So I don't dismiss him at all. This is going to be the biggest, baddest dude that I've fought till date. And so, yes, of course, I would say being able to overcome this would be the most satisfying.
You have to go do a new deal because he was unhappy, right? So how do things change?
I mean, he potentially could. I mean, listen, the thing is, I never like to put the cart in front of the horse, right? Let him go win this fight, and then I think here's the biggest thing. The reason why the deals change isn't necessarily just because he wins this fight. I think what happens is the legend of Jorge Masvidal grows immensely, tenfold. You're talking about a guy who, was supposed to fight Usman originally. Then he gets told he's not fighting. I think, 5 weeks out, 6 weeks out. He breaks camp, okay? He's no longer in training camp. Then, 6 days before a fight where you're going to put him on a plane and he's got to get tested and quarantined and can't have his normal weight cut, can't have his weight in check. He's 20-something pounds overweight. And he turns around and goes and beats Kamaru Usman in Abu Dhabi on this island that they created to make the international fighters have an opportunity to fight. I mean, think about what we're talking about. Like, he could lose every fight going forward after this. He's a Hall of Famer for just this last year. This guy has to be inducted into Hall of Fame. I don't know if anybody else has ever had a better 1 year and 1 week, you know what I mean? How do you say, run than he did that, or call it a 2-year run from the year before 1 year from before Aspirin and then the 1 year since, which would be now. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has had a better run. And so it's like he might be elevated to that next level, that Conor McGregor Khabib level. And if that happens, then you know what, as an agent, you have to go in and say, hey, okay, we've broken all the records, we've done all the numbers, we've done what we needed to do. We've shown you time and time again that, we're that guy. It's time to do something different. And at that point, you're not going to hear any complaints. I think the UFC will do that without a problem.
I'm a big Jose Aldo fan, and everybody knows this. I'm not gonna lie. That guy is the one that he's one of my idols. He's the one that gave me like, oh man, kickboxers and strikers can actually do this, and we can run this game. So at the end of the day, but Peter Yan is an animal, and he's young. But we see what happens. I'm rooting for Aldo because at the end of the day, it's like this guy can really like top off his career, with another belt, and then I can't think of anybody else who deserves it. So I think Aldo can do it. He looks super good. He looks super hungry. He looked super good in December. Like when everybody was questioning the weight cut for him. So I'm just excited for the dude. I hope he goes out there, he figures it out, he put it all together, and he can get out with the belt.
Do you think he was robbed with that Moraes fight?
I mean, I hate speaking on decisions or whatever because it is what it is, but I thought he did enough. I'm not a judge. That's not my job, but I thought he did enough. He was in the back watching it. I got to watch most of it because then we'd warm up, sit down, watch it. So I was tripping. I was like, oh yeah, I got like when it's done, I was like looking away. I was like, oh, you can turn the audio off because we thought he won, and then we was looking at TV with the audio off, and they rose Morales' hand. And I was like, oh wow, okay, well.
You know, I think Petr Yan is a guy that has a lot of knockout power. He's very fast. He's very confident. And he's that guy. He's not afraid to get hurt, to get in there and knock out his opponent. So that makes him very dangerous for Aldo. But Aldo has a tremendous amount of experience. He does have a lot of miles on him. But I don't see Petr Yan as the kind of guy who has that same kind of high volume style that Max Holloway had. I don't see him putting together combination after combination, round after round, and that kind of pressure style like Holloway does. I think he pressures you moving forward, but he doesn't throw high amount of volume. And for that reason, I like Aldo in this fight. I think Aldo, Aldo's a guy who was strong at 145 pounds, and having locked up with this guy, Aldo is definitely going to be the stronger guy in there against Petr Yan. Can Yan win that fight? Absolutely. He's got the power. He is very dangerous. I think he's going to test Aldo's chin, but I think Aldo's experience, his footwork, if he's able to stay emotionally centered in this fight, I like Aldo to win by decision.
It's a tricky one. I'll tell you what, if Max Holloway gets beaten, if Volkanovski wins, I don't see anybody taking the belt of Volkanovski anytime soon. Max Holloway seemed unbeatable at 145. When he was the champ, he was just running through people, and he looked incredible. Those two fights with Jose Aldo. Who else did he fight? Frankie Edgar. There was a few good ones along the way, some incredible fights. But Volkanovski beating sound, fair and square. And if he does it again a second time, as I say,
I put the spotlight on him, right?
It's all you.
I mean, but it is, right? I mean, if his Twitter followers, Instagram followers, it went 5x here. I put the spotlight on him. I played the foil to him. I let him shine. And well, unfortunately, right? I thought I was going to crush him, but you know, he says some of these things like the 3-piece and a soda that are like, maybe he's not intentionally funny, but again, it's really authentic, and people love that. You know, when he said effing super necessary, which
I saw some criticism. People say the punches weren't really necessary. Maybe
they were super necessary.
Why were they necessary?
What do you mean, why were they not necessary?
Because he was already knocked out at that point.
But the referee hadn't pulled me off. And my job is to hit somebody till the referee pulls me off.
I feel like he was kind of a douche for punching me when I was already unconscious. That was just unnecessary. But he said it was super necessary. Like, you know what? It's pretty funny. I mean, I was the dude that got punched. And you know what I'll say? Listen, that was George being real. And that was kind of funny, you know, even though it was me, and I thought he was a douchebag for punching me after I was unconscious. It was kind of funny. So yes, there is a certain authenticity to George that people really, really enjoy.
You've been in this game for a long time. You've proved yourself. Everybody knows your worth. But what would this mean to you to say UFC champion?
It mean a lot, definitely mean a lot. It'll put another stamp in my career, another achievement, another mark. But also the way in which you do it, you know. I got a lot of plans in my head. I got a special recipe. I'm gonna get this done with a lot of secret sauce, you know. So I'm ready to go out there and give it my all.
I put the spotlight on him, right?
It's all you.
I mean, but it is. I played the foil to him. I let him shine, and well, unfortunately.